Okay, so I told you spring had sprung. I had a lot of fun coming up with the color palette for this project. Went to the fabric store and I just had so much joy. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the aqua and this kind of chartreuse green our center of our block. So that's going to be the half square triangles. And then our frames are going to be these two. So this is a companion fabric to this one. And then this one, I had just randomly bought some time ago thinking how fun it was. And I think it's just perfect for this project. So bottom line is you're going to need to have 3/4 of a yard of the two fabrics that are going to be the center of your block. And then you're going to need a 1/2 yard each, and that will include binding, of these two fabrics that will be your frame, okay? And what we're going to be using as our tool, or weapons of choice, I'll call them, will be the 18-inch adjustable locking ruler that we have here, but any ruler that you have will work also. And then we're going to use the half square triangle. And because it is the half square triangle, we do have to cut the fabric on the bias, which is why you have to have a little bit more fabric of these two. Let's go ahead and get started. I did actually get started with the cutting the turquoise already because I wanted to make sure I knew the fabrics required, but we'll go ahead and get started then on this one. So let me set that up and I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to start with our 6-inch half square, and we're going to make it at the 6-inch line here. Now, I need to know that before I can make my cuts, because I'm going to partner this half square triangle ruler with my regular cutting ruler, and that's the width of the strips that I have to cut to get the cut that I need for the half square triangle, okay? And I had already done that, and it's hard to see because it's clear acrylic, but you want the tip of this to be touching what I'll call the black fence of your regular ruler. And that's going to make sure that you get the right size cut. Okay, so now on this one, we have the 45-degree angle that's already etched in here. So it makes it really easy for me to position the ruler here to get my first cut accurate. So I'm going to line up my etch marks on the edge of my fabric. And we're going to do that cut. And then we're going to do 3 cuts total here. Let's come here. Start right there. Just going to push that forward. Okay, so there's my second cut and my third cut. So here we go. Okay. All right, and that's 24 inches, so that's what you need. Oops, get that there. I'm not going to use my cut. I'm just going to use scissors because it's really spare cut it. Well, might need to change my my blade there. Okay, so let me get this cleared up and we'll come back. Okay, so now we're back to the cutting table, and I did get my rotating cutting board here because I just think it's simpler for me to show you doing that rather than having to drag the fabric around. So this is the first one. When we started the bias cut, this is the first cut off of the fabric, okay? So I think I can even get 4 out of here, but we'll check that out and see. So here is our first cut. Now this is folded down here, so let's take a look and see. Yep, we can do that. So now we're going to go ahead and get it lined up. And here is that. Whoops. Yeah, I might have to change my blade here. Maybe I'm just talking and not paying attention to. That could be it. All right, so now let's get that line back up. There we go. Just a little bit up this side. And sometimes I just like to come back a second, swipe at it, make sure. Now, as I said before, this was folded. So we're gonna wanna make that cut right there. And I think for that cut, I'm not gonna use that one. I'm gonna come and get this one. We're gonna just do it right on the fold where it was. All right. I like that right there and right there. And here we go. Okay. So there are our first 4. We need 18 total of the 2 that are going to be the center. All right, so now we've got 4. Now let's go ahead and get the other strips here. I've got this right here. Okay. So these are the other 2 strips that we cut. Now one does have a fold on it, so I am going to just take this and just get it down just a tidge, because I'm going to want to cut the fold end off. All right, there we go. So we're going to match it up here. And like I said, I'm going to leave a little bit there. You do want to make very sure that your under one is, you know, they're lined up accurately, or you won't get an accurate cut. All right, so there's that one. I'm going to fold that over because I'm going to twist this around. All right, and now let's go ahead and there we go. All right, so there's 4 more. So we now have 8 of our 18 that we need. Okay. I have a lot more layers in this, but you know, I find that if I don't try to do too many efficiency, I get more efficiency. All right, here we go. Okay, 1 more, so there's 12. All right, take that down. Here's 16. Anything about that one? So I'm going to start like this. 16 and then here's 18. Okay. All right, so because we now have all of our patchwork triangles cut, and we're going to move on to our big one here. We've got to get 2 more of those patchwork triangles, and so let's just go ahead and do this now rather than have a piece of paper really do this. So, here we go. There's that one, and right here, and here's that one. Okay, so we're going to those over to the side right now. We're going to have 5, there's going to be 4 blocks that are going to be in fabric, what I'll call 3, and 5 blocks that are going to be in fabric 4. So I think this is going to be the fabric that is going to surround the center, because there's 9 blocks in our project. So this is going to be in the center of row 1, on the sides of row 2, and at the center of row 3. Then this is going to be the 4 corners and the actual center block. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with our 4 block cut. And that is going to need, I'm going to do 5 cuts of 2.5 inch strips. Here we go. Now, what we have to do is change our ruler. So I've got these thumb screws, makes it super easy to do. They do come with just regular screw heads, and but you can buy these thumb screws for a little extra. And for me, that is well worth it because I am not very good with a screwdriver. Okay, so I've got it set at 2.5 inches. I don't know if you can see that or not, but 2.5 inch strips. 7 is the lucky number here. All right. All right. That's not going to be any good to anybody. Now, 2.5 inch strips, and I need 5 cuts, right? Yeah, 5 cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so let's move to the next one. Okay, so now here's the secondary frame Actually, you could consider it the primary frame. And we're gonna have 6 cuts of this one. And I'm gonna keep it at 2.5 inches. And I did already make my straight edge cut there. So let's do this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and then, all right, so now all of our cuts except for the binding are done, and it's time to get sewing. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so now what we're doing is pinning our half square triangles together, and I want you to go ahead and lay them out like this and pin all of them exactly the same, because they're 2 halves just going opposite directions. So we actually do want, when we get to the pressing table, we're going to press all of them. Oops, I want it to be on. See, I talk and then I lose my train of thought here. Here we go. So I want them to be identical so that when we're sewing them, they're all going in the same direction. And what that means is when we're pressing them, we're also going to press them all in the same direction. And then half of them are going to go on the bottom, which means that the press job will be in the opposite direction, which is what we want. So sometimes it's just easier to work smart. All right, so there's that one. Okay, so now we're at our sewing machine, and we're gonna get started piecing these little puppies together. I've got my Sew Straight guide on here, and I think I've shown you this before, but this is what helps me make sure that I get a scant 1/4 inch. This is the tool that tells me where my needle needs to be. So what we're gonna do is put this down here, put that under there, and then because I have so much time on this machine, I know that I want to take this, I think, to 7.2, but let's double check myself. So I'm going to move it to the right. So we're just going to tap here and get that needle moving over there. 7.2. I'm going to take it down, and nope, not quite. It's hitting the acrylic. That's why I'm doing it by hand. Okay, let's do 7.4 then. 7.4, yep, there it goes. It goes down into that slit. So now I have this partnered with this. That's the edge of the foot right there. So as long as I keep my fabric against that edge, I know I will have a scant 1/4 inch seam. And you know, let's be honest, as long as all your seams are the same distance, it doesn't matter. But this really helps me be straight and consistent. Okay, and we're going to basically just daisy chain this. I was doing some faster sewing earlier. So here we go. And I did put in a very small white bobbin on the bottom. Where's my, here we go. Here's my stiletto. That helps me kind of get things going here. So it's also a red, but it's just means that I can bobbins over there. I want to change it on in the middle, so. Okay, there's a lot of change, so I'll be back. Okay, so now here we are at the pressing table, and I've taken the pins out of the half squares that we've sewed together, and we're now getting ready to press. And so as I said before, we're going to press them all in the same direction. So we're just going to we're going to have one big press fest. Okay. I always like to turn it over to make sure that I've got a really good press on the front as well. So one down and lots to go. Actually 18 to go, I guess. And I pressed to the blue. So that's what I just need to remember, is I'm always pressing to the blue. You can press whichever direction you want, just as long as you do all the same, all of them exactly the same. So let me show you what I mean here. And we might as well put these together while we're doing this. So when we put them together like that, and we flip it over, then see how the presses are going in the opposite direction. So now we're just going to nestle that seam right together, butt it up right together, pin that, and then pin the two sides here. Get it evened up there. All right, one down. Here we go, blue. Okay, that one. Blue. Nestle that seam together. Especially when you have high contrast on fabrics, getting that seam perfectly nestled together is going to be the first intersection we're looking for. Two. I'll do one more here, and then I'll do the front work. Change that the sewing machine, put it all together. Let's go ahead and do one more. I like contrast color. And this is a fabric with circles. I have a lot of these, yellow, orange, pink, together, the pieces and geometric patterns. And you know, it's really fun. I know where you're going. Who would have thought? All right. Here we go. I did press it here. Press it. No, I didn't press it. Okay, something's wrong. See, I'm talking. Just switch it. I can't talk and walk. All right. Maybe there's something wrong. Okay. Here we go. I'm just going to there's that. And there's this, and this. Okay. I'll see you back at the sewing machine when we're putting all those together. Okay, back at the sewing machine now, and we're going to put those blocks together. So here we go. It's already set up. There we go. Okay. We need to be doing a little bit of trimming on that one. It looks like we got a little long there. Okay, start to finish those various points. We'll bring on the straight first seam. Okay, let's switch off. Jump into it. I've been making this split now for this particular process, and it's actually I love because I've got a lot of card tables, games like I use on, regular device and everything. And then I have to put the families in the one, so this is part of the little cut it right, and it's really nice. All right, so now I'll meet you back over at the pressing table, and we'll go through the process of getting this pressed and separated and looking good. Okay, so now I've taken the pins out, and we're ready to begin the process of getting these put back together. But remember, I told you about using different color thread so I can really see well. What we're going to do before we do any pressing is we're going to take out these few little stitches that go just beyond the seam line here on both sides. All right, two. All right, now we're going to take this, and there you go. There's our little pocket, the treasured little envelope, I guess is what I maybe should call it. So let's go ahead and get this. So this is what we want to have happen perfectly, is that little separation. So you see all four corners, and that means that your center is really good. I won't say perfect. I have perfectionist illusions, but I'm not perfect by any means. However, that looks pretty good. So that is what we will endeavor to achieve on all these. Let's see how we go. So here's this is my started with the white. So as you can see, as the black was. All right. So now we're going to do this. And whenever you do this, you'll see it'll naturally wind up one direction or another. So just the fabric direction you're going to be pressing to achieve that little four corner opening there. And then you're going to press on that, make sure your seams are all nice and flat and no creases or anything. I can try to do quality control the whole time I'm touching this, but all these things I do. Okay. There's that. And I already have this done. All right. So now there we go. All right. Now, make sure you get the press. Yeah, really. When you're using my contrast fabric, it really shows you get that good. All right. One more so you can see, and then I'll meet you back over at the cutting table, and we'll start cutting our frames up. Let's do one more here. And success. Okay, I'll meet you back at the cutting table. Okay, here we are back at the cutting station, and I went ahead and put together one of the blocks with the border so you can visually see it. So we're gonna cut 9-inch and 12.5". So let's go ahead, and I've got these done with the 9" so far. Here's one, and we need one more. So let's go ahead and cut one more 9". And let me put this off to the side here. And I'm going to cut the selvage off. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to take this, scoot that down a little bit. Take this down to 10. And 9". Okay, and then I need a 12.5" too. Okay. Okay, put that there, that there. So we're going to put on the 9" first, and I've decided I'm going to put the 9" across the green. So that's going to be what I'll call the short side. So let's do that, and this. Okay. Okay. And then just a sec here. All right. I cut them just a titch long. I'd rather have them long than short. And sometimes my cuts aren't exactly perfectly straight. So you always want to err on having too much, and you can cut it off, because if you have too little, you got to make the block smaller. And that's not what I'm hoping for here. 2 and 3. Okay. So now we have these ready to go to do the short side sewing, but we need some long side ones. And this one has 5 blocks, so I have 4 blocks of that. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more 12.5". So let's go ahead and get these up here. Actually, I need to build this outside again here. And there we go. And do that. All right. All right. And on the 10. And 12.5 that way. 12.5 and 2, 4, 5. Okay. I'm going to do these doubles. I think I can get everything I need. I just add length now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right. 12.5. All right. There's 3. And 8, which is what I need. Okay, so those cuts are ready. I'll do the sewing of the short sides, and then we'll add that. So while we're here, let's go ahead and cut the orange as well. So this time we only have 4 blocks, not 5. All right, back at the sewing machine. I've got all the short pieces uh, pinned in. So here we go. So if you're project, you know, it's easy enough to just have one border around it, or you could have multiple different blocks. Yeah, it's all personal preference. That's why there's such opportunity to make everything so unique. So I think the same project really doesn't feel like it's almost so different. And you can finish it with our new feathers, the working brushes, that's actually fun too. And the other one that I showed at the beginning was more difficult to do styles, so block by block. I found sewing all these together very block, that will do the work rather than individual blocks. All right, so I'm just now going to start turning around and do it again. I'll meet you out the table. All right, so now that we've sewn the short edges together and I've pressed them, I pressed these seams out, we're going to go ahead and attach the long side to these. So we'll just pin those and 1, 2, and 3. Because there's no seams or anything, I see no need to overpin. Just get it started, keep it in the middle and end properly. So, all right, here we go. 1, 2. This one might be a little short, it looks like. There we go. That'll work. So whenever you're cutting these, you might want to just make sure that they're a little longer. I cut them apparently just a tad short. We're going to cut some of this down anyways. All right. Yeah, these are short too. Okay, here's the center. You get the rhythm, so it's not any harm foul, but let's do it like this and like this. So I probably should cut these rather than 12 quarters. They're going to be a lot shorter. As I said, I'm going to cut these down and finish same size and everything before it's all together. So we have room here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'll straighten this up. You see some of these little pressing now, it's time to do it. Always follow your control when touching blocks. Make sure the seams are the seam, and you sew, then you have to do a little bit more, tear it out, rip out the seam. So I don't do, I love that aspect, so I do see why I'm doing it here. 1, 2, and 3. All right, there's that one. Oh, that's one. I think I'm going to do a half easy. The whole block of all this is really fun easily. I've been pretty busy, but the whole block is just 1 2 so I can have the little and the curvature. Okay. And 3. All right, I'll continue with the pinning, and I'll meet you back after we get the side sewn, and we're ready to move on to the next phase. All right, I'm back. All right, so now we've gone ahead and added the long piece. I've got it all ironed out, and now what we're doing is the trimming part. So I've taken this rotating cutting board that we had earlier, and what I'm doing is I'm going to put this on here in the center. So I'm using the dotted lines on both sides, and I'm going to eyeball it first and try to get it close to where I think square is. Then I'm going to put this on here. This is our 8-point crosshair square. It's got little etch marks that help extend, so I'm pretty close this way. How am I this way? I'm a little bit above, so we're going to pull it down just a tidge. Okay, let's get it down back here. That's good, that's good. And now these two are good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make 4 marks here. We're going to be using that later for our embroidery section, and it's just going to be easier for me to do it right now, although I might end up ironing this and having those go away. I hope not. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is actually use this as the cutting surface, and we're cutting these down to 12.5 inches. So there's not a lot that's getting trimmed off of here, but a little bit on all sides. And I know that it's an even trim because I've centered it in the middle. All right. So now we'll take that and put that over there. All right, now we're to the layout part. So I've got the 3 columns, and I've got the paisley that's on the 4 corners and in the center. The orange are the ones surrounding the center is how I think of it. So I'm going to be putting these together in rows. So I've pinned this one already, so we'll call this row 1. And we're going to take that. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is I've opted to alternate the direction of the blocks. You can do it however you want. And actually this looks really pretty if you don't have the border and you just put them all in the same direction. You actually get double blocks. But I opted for this look instead. So I'm alternating. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want to do. But now we're going to put these in columns. I'm going to take them and get them sewn, and then we'll go through the process of putting the quilt top together. All right, I'll be back. All right, we're at the sewing machine. I'm going to start sewing these columns together. And I can't really do it wrong because the paisley is on the 4 outside corners, so you can, there won't be any mix-up or any need to label the columns. All right, I'm not going to daisy chain these. I'm going to just do each column as needed. Make sure I got a good straight stitch there. Okay, come over here, do this side. All right, get it started right. There we go. All right, there's one column. Let's go to the next one. So as pressing, this is the center column, and what I'm going to do is press the seams I'm doing, press those up to the center, and I'm going to press them out, that way when we put the column together, the seams will be going opposite directions. And two column, and the third one. All right, here we go. So I'm going to choose over, there we go. All right, so I've taken the pins out, and now we're ready to start pressing. And as I said before, we're going to press the 2 outside columns. We're going to press these to the outside. And I want to be very careful when I'm pressing because I made those crosshair markings, and I don't want to lose those. Because it won't be quite as easy to do that when it's a whole cloth and we're embroidering. So I'm just going to be very careful when I'm going through here. If you see something that you messed up with your iron before. Now's the chance to fix it. All right, so that one's down, and now let's do this one down. Okay. Oops. So easy with a big iron to kind of fumble your way through here. But okay. So now let's turn that over. The press job looks pretty good. I still have most of my markings. I don't have to have all of them. I just need most of them so I can see the centers there. All right, so there's one column. Now let's go ahead and do the center column, and that's going to be the one that has the paisley in the middle. All right, so let's put this over here. Okay, let's turn this over. Now we are going to press these to the inside again. I mean, not again, but this one is going to go to the inside. So here we go. All right. And then I need to fix this. Somehow that got messed up along the way. All right, and then this one's gonna go up. All right, there we go. Now let's turn it over and see how it looks. Oh, I thought I had that good. Up. All right, there we go. All right, now let's turn it over. Those look good. Now see, I did mess up my crosshair markings on these. So what I am gonna do is do it right now while I'm thinking about it, because I don't have to press this right now. Let me get my pen and let me get my crosshair square. And I'm just gonna add those markings back in. Okay. So there we go. There we go. And I can tell if it's square or straight because I've got these etch marks that I can put the seams on. So that's kind of nice too. Whoops, I do have to have the pin out to work. Okay, there's that. And then the aqua is kind of hard to see because it's already the same color, but you get the drift. And then the same song second verse over here. Okay. There is that. All right. Okay. So I feel good about that. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and put those first two that I just put together, or I mean just ironed, we're gonna put together those columns. All right. So here we go. And I'm gonna start right at where the seam is. And as hoped, they are exactly lined up, going in the ironed seam is going in the opposite direction, which is exactly what I wanted. All right. Here we go. Move that out of the way a little bit. And then come here. Butt up those seams together so you've got a good intersection. And then we're going to put a couple in the middle here. I like to put pins where there are seams so I don't run in the opposite, run them over and make them fold over. Hopefully I'm trying to create as flat a surface as possible to quilt on. In this case, embroider on. Okay, so here's that. And this one. Somehow I always figure out how to wear black when I'm quilting. Not a good choice. All right, and here we go here. And there is a seam right there on the underneath that I'm gonna pin to. That should be going the correct direction though, so I'm not too worried about that one. This one, however, could be going the wrong way. Okay, and then right there. Okay, so there's that one. Now let's come and do that other column that we have. All right, so I'm thinking about it. This one's wide, and this one's wide. This one. Second, get this line up, and water right here. All right, so now let's go ahead and this one. Now we can over here, and it's going to this one. Okay, so we're going to take this out like this, and this one over the top here. And we'll start here, I guess. All right, so we're going to put that together. Sorry, that's a bit different. So I'm going to take the seams again, just a reminder. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to come to the seam here. I'm going to get that one first and fill everything else like that. Okay, so now let's get this up here. This one here. And this one here. All right. And there. Okay, so now we're ready to go and stitch our columns together and our quilts done. So we check out the machine. Okay, guys, here we are. And now, just like before when we did these little, I'll call them envelopes, that's what I'm doing here. So I'm just cutting the little threads at the places where the seams intersected when we put the columns together. And we're going to go through here, get that opened, and then press this down this way. All right. Now let's go ahead and turn it around, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So there's only 4 little junctions like that. So let's have a second. We got to take them out. This is when I wish my thread would have been more contrasting. I talked about that, but unfortunately it matched pretty well to the orange that I was using. All right, and here's this one. Even with my glasses, sometimes this is a challenge to get these little suckers out. Oh, and here's one where I folded over the seam. So that's pretty easy to fix. I'm just gonna take a stitch out and release the pressure on that and let it fold back over. This is gonna have lots of quilting on it, so I'm not too worried about a couple of stitches being missed there. Okay, so now we're gonna press this to the inside, get that envelope there. I'm going to pull that a little taut. Okay, come down here. That opens up. We're going to press this down. And there we go. Let's fix that. All right. Okay. I think I'm going to hang that up and we'll take a look at it. And that'll be the ta-da moment. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, there's the ta-da moment. So our quilt top is sewn together, pieced, sewn together, and the next phase of this project will be actually embroider quilting this together. So I will see you back for that next episode. See you then.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to our Patchwork Club project of the month, which is our quarter square triangles. And Mindy finished this and got it all ready for us. And so this is the final project before we've done the embroidery on it. And it's very colorful. I love the color combinations. I hope you do too. So what we're going to do is come up with some embroidery designs to finish off this project for this month. So we're going to get on to that next. Okay, so we are at the embroidery machine. So this month we're focusing on Starry Nights, which I think lends itself really well to the design of this block. The block itself measures, I want to say this was close to 8 inches. And so the designs that I'm using are just going to be right under 8 inches. So they'll fill in this really nicely. And then we're going to be using some pink thread to kind of play off the pink and the borders and the sashing. So I think that'll stand out really well. Oh, and we're going to see how that looks when it's all done. I've got myself centered right there in the middle of the block. Hopefully it stitches out okay. I'll keep you posted. All right, so here is the finished block. Turned out really good. I like the pink on there. I like the Starry Nights design. This was also a triple stitch or a bean stitch, whatever you want to call it. So it gives it a little bit more, it's a little more pronounced, the thread, which I think it looks good with the pink too. So there is our first block. All right, we are getting started on block number 7 now. Starry Nights block 7, Sun, Moon, and Stars. And we are already in process on this one. We'll keep you posted. Here's block number 7 finished. I think it looks pretty good. On to our next block. Here is block 10. I think it's my favorite so far. I love just the shape of it and how the little circles, the little, I guess there'd be full moons and partial moons. But anyways, I really love that design. So this is block 10 of the Starry Nights. And I think it turned out really good. So there's our first 3. Block 10, block 6, block 12. And there's the first 3. If I can zoom out enough, you guys can see them. Anyways, I think that looks really good. And then we've got 6 more blocks to do. So we're going to do another run of 3, and I'll go pick out which blocks of the Starry Nights we'll do next. Okay, we are back, and this is the block I've chosen next. It is now block 11 of the Starry Nights, and this is what it looks like. So it's kind of intricate like the star one we did, but this has got more of the half moons in it, and then some stars in it as well. And this is what it's looking like. And it's stitching out really nice. So this is block 11 of Starry Nights. Here is finished block, Starry Nights block number 11. And that turned out very nice. I really like this block design as well. You can see there's so many variations with the Starry Nights. It's really just endless, and it creates lots of fun designs and ways to use them. And each one is so different, but yet they all kind of flow together. So that is now block 11, and we're going to go on to the next one. Block 6 that we started with. So that's Starry Nights block 6, and then now we're going to be working on block 12, and this is what block 12 looks like. So we're going to go ahead and get started with block 12. I've got myself all set up and centered in there, and we'll see how this looks. It's coming along really nicely. Just want to give you guys a sneak peek at this block. It's looking pretty good, about halfway done, and we'll be moving on to the next one, but this one's looking really good. I love the little star tails. I think they're really cute. Kind of lend itself to the fabric design too. Okay, so now this is block 12. So we are done with that one. I think it looks really good. Again, I just love these little curly loops at the end of the star tails for the Starry Nights on block 12. And I like how it just kind of like highlighted that the square in the middle, and it looks really good. So there's the first 2 blocks done, and we're gonna do a 3rd block. Okie dokie, here is block 16. It is a nice looking block, very celestial in my mind, but a lot of fun. Looks really good on the design of this quilt too, as far as the actual quilt blocks. But anyways, there is number 16, and now we're gonna go on to the next one. So here we are with our next block, and this is block 2 of Starry Nights. And this is what it looks like, block 2. And I like this one because it doesn't have like that circular, it's still a circular design, but it doesn't have like the actual circle embroidered on it. So you just got kind of these stars going around in a circle, which is kind of fun. So it gives it a little bit of a different look, and it still flows with everything. It's all the nice Starry Nights. And that's what that one looks like. Again, that's block 2. Here's block 2. Looks really nice. Lots of stars kind of just shooting out from the center. And yeah, it turned out really good. Kind of looks nice next to the other ones. So we are on to our final block. Let's see what it's going to be. All right, so here is all of the blocks together. It turned out really nice. I love the color combo. I love the pink thread. I think turned out really good too. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this project. There's only binding left to be done. Otherwise, that is the June Patchwork Project of the Month.